Sorry, I've been MIA for a week. We had a mental breakdown. I just wanted to be away from like social media and the computer, you know, just things that has intoxicated society. Sometimes when I run out of video ideas, I take a good hard look in the mirror. Not to reflect, but to have conversations with myself. And usually I'll snap my fingers like, eyebrows. And I don't ever really think I've done a video about eyebrows, about how I do my everyday eyebrows. And as we know over the years, if you guys have been watching me, that my eyebrows have pretty much been through hell and back. Unfortunately, I don't have any eyebrows. Well, I do, it's growing a bit, but I started plucking my eyebrows when I was like 12. I got obsessed with it, and then I figured that my mother was right. It never grew back. And I went through a transition of different shapes and eyebrows. I'm apparently not one of those to rise out of the ocean and, you know, look pretty and have well-groomed eyebrows. It's okay, I don't go swimming in the water anyway. I think the very first trauma my eyebrows went through was probably, you know, the chola phase when I was, you know, still trying to fit in 9th grade. You know, started shaping it, penciling it, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared. It's apparently one of those body hairs that I did not want to go away forever. And when you have flaws, ain't no hiding ugly. I remember like growing up, like, you know, if you're like a little bit hairy, like people in the Filipino culture call it balbon. It's when you're a little bit of like a peach fuzzy everywhere. That is meant to be sexy. I don't know how many whiffers my mom inhaled, but that is not really that sexy to me. It took me several years to kind of figure out just to go with one set of eyebrows. And I used to like arch my eyebrows so high that I looked 50 shades of mean. I mean, that's about the most hideous they got. This is kind of like my literally 30-second eyebrows that I do with like the cheapest drugstore products. And I don't use like, you know, Anastasia brows. This is how I do my everyday, all day 30-second brows, which I can do in 30 seconds, but since I'm filming, it takes like 30 times longer. Okay, so I just literally just got out of the shower, and I kind of have my face and body foundation by MAC on. I prep my, you know, what little hairs I have. You know, I use this spoolie the same with my eyebrows, just kind of like brush the hair up. I just kind of like, you know, comb out my eyebrows so that it just kind of, you know, I think there's some hair left. Next thing, this is my concealer. Anyways, I take a concealer. I use my nub because I have nails. Ah, forget it. So I take the concealer out of my nail. Gross, I know, but whatever. This just kind of gives me like a blank canvas to work on so it doesn't crease. Actually, I don't use a concealer as a base for my eyebrows. I use a makeup primer, but we have the wrong lid here. And then I take my little spongy thingy and I just kind of press it in. I've always used a very cheap, like 99 cents. Well, actually, I've always used my Wet n Wild, which is my pencil, my eyebrow pencil that I use in dark brown. And this is what I've used for the past, I would say like 8 years or something. And when I used to have eyebrows, I would use an eyebrow. Alright, so what I do is I start just kind of penciling it in. Like that. And I've always gone with that arch because I have like a round face and you don't want to look too bitchy or too surprised. So I just usually draw mine and then I take light strokes and then I just put a little pressure on it just so I can get that right arch. And I take an angling brush, which is, you know, pretty much mangled. It's just like, you know, a really very chiseled angle brush. I usually go from like, I take my thingy and I go from like the edge of like the corner of my eye and the edge of my eye, and then I would angle it. Because if I like go in like just the center of my eye, I would look like a Rottweiler with eyebrows. So last but not least, I take my concealer brush and my concealer. This is my final way to shape my eyebrows to just how I really want it to look. Pretend to draw an arch. Just relaxing my face. And I go like that. And voila! That is my 30-second eyebrow routine. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!